As we continue to look at the quadratic formula, sometimes it's interesting to know how many solutions you're going to have with any given equation. And we can find that out looking at the discriminant. Now, the discriminant is this part of the quadratic function or the quadratic equation, quadratic function, where you just take b squared minus 4ac. And if b squared minus 4ac equals 0, like it did in that last problem, we just have one real root. And what that means is that you're only touching the x-axis in that one point right there. There's your answer. So we can see an example here. In this example, a would be 1, b would be a -6, and c would be 9. So if we go b squared minus 4ac, we would take the -6 squared minus 4 times a times c, get 36 minus 36 equals 0. So because the discriminant equals 0, we just have one real root right there. Now, if we look at the next situation here, you can see we have when the b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, we'll get two answers. Looking at this example, we have y equals a -x squared minus 2x plus 2. So our a here is a -1. Our b here is a -2, and our c here is 2. If we substitute that in, we'll get a -2 squared minus 4 times -1 times 2, which these two negatives will make it, okay, when we multiply this together, we get a -8, but we're subtracting it, which makes it 4 plus 8, or 12. So since this is positive, we get two real roots, and they occur where this parabola crosses the x-axis. You can see it crosses the x-axis twice. So two answers. Now, when you get a negative number underneath the square root, when the discriminant is negative, then you'll have no real solutions. And that's example is given here. The b squared minus 4ac is a -2 squared, or 4, minus 4 times 1 times 2. So here you're subtracting 8, regular 8. So you get a -4. And this parabola floats above the x-axis, doesn't cross it at all. So there are no real roots or no real solutions. There are imaginary number solutions, but that doesn't have a place for us on the graph. Because when we graph real numbers. So let's look at these questions here and use the discriminant to determine the nature of the solutions of the following quadratic equations. So in A, we have 3x squared plus 11x minus 7 equals 0. So our A for this problem is 3, B is 11, and C would be that -7. And just doing this, the shortcut, the b squared minus 4ac, we're going to get 11 squared minus 4 times 3 times a -7. That's a 3. So this gives us 121 minus 12 times a -7, which will give us plus 12 times 7, or 84. Adding these two together, it looks like we get 205. This is positive. So that means we'll have two real solutions. And this graph will cross the x-axis twice. If we look at this one, we would identify our A as being 1, our B as being 6, and our C as being 9. And then doing just the discriminant part, we're going to get 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9, which will be 36 minus 36, or 0. And when b squared minus 4ac equals 0, then we have one real solution. All right, let's try this one. This one's a little tricky here. We need to set it equal to 0. So we're going to subtract that 1 to move it to the left side. And we'll have x squared minus 1 equals 0. So our A is 1. There is no B. because there's no x term, and our c is a -1. Using our discriminant, we'll get 0 squared minus 4 times 1 times -1. So this is 0 minus 4 times 1 times -1 is a -4, which means that's plus 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. That's positive. So here also we have two real solutions. And it's that simple. All right. Thanks for watching this module, and we'll see you in our subsequent videos.